Season's bleedings, everyone. Zero Gravity reporting in to wish you all much dread. Now, in honor of Black History Month, Dread Central and I have curated an awesome board of cosplay panelists. All of them are here to share our love and experiences for horror and costuming. So please allow me to introduce some of the best in the cosplay game, each of them horror blurs of their own: Alley Cat Cosplay, Ames Taco, Oxdraman, and Tris Rex Studio. Thank you guys so much for pulling up. And let's just, start it off easy. Let's get a quick intro, followed by the last horror movie, book, or game you indulged in. All right, let's start with Akdraman, Avery.
Hey, my name is Avery aka Akdraman. What's going on? I'm trying to think of the last horror movie I watched. It might have been Cube.
Oh,
yeah, Cube.
Yeah. I watch that from time to time. It's such an interesting film with just what they do and how they change up certain archetypes of characters. But yeah, I love that film to death.
That is so awesome. I need to give that one a rewatch. I am really looking forward to that Japanese remake that we're getting.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's this year. Might be next year. Either way, I'll wait. I'll wait for that one. All right.
That's going to be good.
How about you?
Who? Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I know you said my name. Oh, well, so horror related books that I've read and I've finished called Tender is the Flesh, and it's it's a novel by Augustina Bazterrica. I butchered the name, but Tender is Flesh it's so I'm like, if they make this into a movie, I was telling Gravity, they're going to change everything. It is extremely gory, extremely graphic. It's a dystopian world where humans cannot eat animal life at all. So they eat each other and cannibalism. So they have human cattle. Like literally they breed humans, and it's like this weird form of morality. And there's the main character, he lost a son, and he has like this weird episode about it, and it just, the ending threw me, like I almost threw the book. I was like, what the like, it's really, really, really dark and graphic. It's extremely dark and graphic. I haven't read anything like this in a while, and I'm just like, I can't visually see this being on cinema unless they change it entirely. But I extremely, if you like to work and listen while you listen to audiobooks, the audiobook was really good because I was doing that a lot also. And the narrator, he has a really nice voice, and it's like, I think it's like set in a Latin America or whatever, because the narrator had a Spanish accent and a lot of the characters are Hispanic and Latino. So I definitely think it's a great read if you like very gory, graphic stuff.
Let's go. I
enjoy.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
I chose my panelists well. Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Okay.
It's gonna, if you can't stomach it though, so don't read it.
Trigger warning.
Big trigger warning.
To Alley Cat.
Hi everybody, my name is Alley Cat. The last horror that I rewatched, Hereditary, because of a lot that I missed in the first watch through, and like I think I need to watch it one more time because like there's some visuals that director puts in. This is the same director from
Ari
Aster, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's just like the paganism imagery that I want to rewatch and see, like because they have a lot of background images, and like I don't know, it's a really good horror. It has a few jump scares, but it's mostly like for the story. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that's definitely a good movie with like really high rewatch value. You're not going to get it all in the first viewing. It's not possible. It's one of those. And of course, we as nerds love to just like pick shit apart. So that's a good one for us. Thank you. Moving on to Tris Rex Studio.
What's going on, everybody? I am Tristan of Tris Rex Studio. And the last horror film that I watched, I'm super late, but I just watched the Candyman remake. Big time Chicago film. I remember when they were shutting things down around the office to film that. And I've been rewatching one of my favorites due to my current project, Pumpkinhead, 1988. Love Pumpkinhead.
Oh, yeah.
That's my boy.
Nice. Oh, is that a sneak peek that I just heard? Are we getting something Pumpkinhead related from you?
Yes, you are. Yes,
Oh,
you are. We getting something. We getting a new scarecrow. The new Face of Fear is coming in March. I got this project called The Art of Fear, and we're gonna take a deeper dive into some of the things that really makes our skin crawl and
love
how
it.
that changes that as we grow older. So yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm back at it.
Ooh,
Nice,
he's
nice.
back, baby. All right, now let's get into some questions. So let's just go down the line in the same order. And my first question for you all is, what inspired you to get into costuming and cosplay?
For me, I've just done Halloween stuff as a kid for like such a long time. I wish I had pictures to go along with this, but I think the single thing that I remember that made me love like costume and Halloween stuff when I was a kid was I had an affinity for Spider-Man. Obviously, I wanted to cosplay him so bad, which is funny because I ended up cosplaying Miles Morales like later on in life. But I specifically wanted the costumes that had like the foot in them, but you know they were too expensive at the time, and my dad, you know, being as creative as he was, because I come from an art family, he just put like a bunch of just his own foam in the costume. And initially I didn't like it, but I put it on and I was like, you know what, this is cool. And then as soon as I went to school, I was like, whoa, he has so much more padding than us. What the heck? I want to look like that. So like that made me feel like really, really good. And like ever since then, I love putting on costumes. So yeah, that was really it. Was this also like asking how we got into cosplay as well? I
Yeah.
forgot. Okay,
Yeah.
just want to make sure. I didn't get into cosplay until like 2014 of this month actually. So technically it's my cosplay anniversary, I guess you
Happy
could say.
birthday.
Thank you.
Cos day.
My birth as a degenerate cosplayer. I love it. But you know, it was I was actually at my community college with some friends, with some college friends, and they convinced me to go to this convention that our community college held every January. So I ended up going. I did like two closet cosplays of like Blade and like I think at the time the 11th Doctor, like before he was even a thing. So it was like my own like OC character, and they look terrible, but you know you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
And going to that convention, it was really small, but like there were so many cool things to do and stuff to buy, and just seeing everyone run around in like their own cosplays and you know become those characters really kind of made me fall in love with it. And like ever since I haven't turned back. So that's pretty much it.
I think I'm next, right? So similar thing. My mom's really like, she loves Halloween. So since I was a child, she loves dressing up. She was always the one like go to a Halloween party and she'll win. Like she goes like all out. And I got that mentality from her. And also like my family, because I was raised with my grandmother and she taught me how to hand sew. So like I would make costumes all the time. And I was a weird child. Like I wanted to be a tooth fairy, and then they thought they would give me like a pretty costume. I tore it up, messed it up, and I wore a witch mask. And I was like, I'm a scary tooth fairy. Like I would do stuff like that. Like instead of Minnie Mouse, I was like anti negate Minnie Mouse. Like her colors were
Nigga
reversed.
mouse.
Yeah, so literally my nigga mouse. So I was like literally all black with red dots instead of the white and red. And I would do
Ooh.
stuff like that all the time. Like I would just make costumes. And then my actual cosplay, I first really I like to count as my first is, I think it was probably 2000, like I don't know, I was probably 11 or 12, and whenever like around Final Fantasy 10, I made Yuna's costume out of like a whole bunch of stuff and scrap, and I made her staff, and I was like in a pond trying to be like her.
Nice.
And my cousin's making fun of me because of it. And I just always been cosplaying since. I didn't go to my first con I didn't go to until like college. And my first con technically was a porn convention. It was New Jersey Exotica.
Exotica.
Okay, yeah, New Jersey, that makes sense.
So that was my first con. And then after that, I went to New York Comic Con for the first time, and then Anime Boston, and it just spiraled from there. But I've been cosplaying for a long ass time, since I was like 10 and 11. But I didn't really have a word for it. I just always did it on my own time in my house, like all the time. I have like Kodak, like a whole bunch of Kodak film of like me in like high school, and I did like Vampire Night outfit before
Nice.
the anime came out. Like I had, because
Ooh.
I read more than I watch, and I had the Vampire Night outfit, and I came and I wanted to be a side character, not like one of the characters. I thought I was so creative, but of course, a whole bunch of you been to the school said I was Rosa Parks. I don't know why. Yeah,
What?
they call me Rosa Parks, but you know, people like they don't like us cosplaying. They got beef with us, so
Don't get
Yeah.
into that.
they'll
Yep.
say anything.
Wow.
They'll
Holy
say it's
shit.
it's all right. Their jokes
Rosa
didn't touch
Parks?
me. Yeah, it made no
Whoa.
sense. It made absolutely no sense. That's when you know, like, they just say shit to say shit.
Mm.
Like, but that didn't stop me. I didn't care. So I still cosplayed, and I had jokes for days. My jokes were elite. So, but
Wow.
that's about it.
Damn.
Okey-dokey. I didn't want to cut off at all. When I got into cosplay, also similar with everybody else who started, I didn't start until college. So I was in college. Our largest student organization was Campus Nerds, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to go to a weekend convention?" I was like, "What is that?" Never knew about anything about a convention. They took me to one, and I saw Felicia cosplayer, and I saw people dressed up as these characters. I'm like, do they work here? What is this? And they're like, that's cosplay. Like, no, they just made it at home. So that day I went home and I tried to make my first costume out of like a t-shirt, a Halloween wig, because it was right about that time. It was garbage, never wore it, but I kept on trying and I kept making cosplay because I was in school for art. So I made use of that art department, the art department material. And I was just obsessed with it, and I just never stopped. And it just kind of snowballed into what I'm doing today, where I've switched my career into costume making. And that's just where I ended up landing in this book of Allison. That's me. I'm short, sweet, simple.
The Book of Allison.
The book of Allison. Oh, it's lots of chapters.
Okay. Everybody was looking at me and shit. But talk, motherfucker. Yes, I got started a little bit later. At the time I started cosplaying, it was around 2018. I needed a therapeutic outlet just to, get creative and just wash the work off me every day. So I've always been enamored with like action films, sci-fi films, horror films, of course. And that's one of the things that kind of just captured me as far as my love for movie making and costumes. So in 2018, I saw the Black Panther trailer, and I saw Killmonger, and I was like, you know what, that'll be a good start. And I got started, looked at as many pictures as possible, added my own spin to it, and it went really well. It went really well. We went to C2E2 that year for 2018, and ever since then, I've been a better person. I've been happier all around, better at work, more positive perspective, and it's been my medicine. And now I just create bigger monsters. So, long were the days of me showing my face in like the human form. So now it turned into a hobby. Went from a hobby to a passion, and to now it's even much more. So a little bit later in life, but it always happens when you need it.
I love that. There's always time. Always time. I've been trying to get my aunt into cosplay. She sees what I do and she doesn't really know what it is, but she is a creative lady and she just thinks, oh, I'm too old. I'm too old. But I do not believe that's the case. It's never too
There's
late.
no
No.
age
No,
limit.
yeah,
There's
no.
none.
Yeah.
There's
I
no-
love
Nah,
seeing
this-
people come to conventions like with their moms and their aunties and grandmas and like
My mom was Mystique 2 years ago.
Fire.
Literally.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
talking
cool.
about.
Paint her. I had to paint her and put the things on. It was a pain in the butt. I had to put all the texture on her, and she won that contest. Like I said, my
I know
mom is
damn
out
well
to
she
win.
did.
Yeah.
You put in all that work, I would hope she won the contest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You'll be pissed going home without a trophy.
Yeah, my mom goes in on Halloween. She doesn't do it every like day like me, but Halloween, whew, she goes
That's the day.
in.
That's
Yeah.
the day.
Man, catch me at Katsucon when I'm 90 with a walker being like, where are the drinks at, sonny?
Yes, I know it. If I
Yeah.
know you,
I'm
that
just
is
gonna be
true.
grandma version of every character.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Xero
my next
knows.
question- Okay, my next question. As a Black cosplayer, how do y'all feel about canon cosplay and why?
So canon cosplay is kind of like weird because to a degree as an artist, I appreciate the idea of people like really trying to embody the character down to like details and everything like that. But you know, as we all know, as Black cosplayers, like the form of canon cosplay and accuracy and all that has really been a negative boon in our backsides a lot of the time. Like a lot of people are so worried about like, oh, your skin color is not there. Oh, this character is not Black. Here's some Black characters for you to do, like Storm, and like insert very stereotypical Black character that you should do here. I even had someone, because I did Marcus Holloway, which by all accounts to a lot of people, that is a canon cosplay to me. Like a lot of people say I look like him, but I had people say I was too light to be him.
Lord.
It gets that weird where people are so worried about accuracy to the point of just being that petty. And you know, if you know my work, especially with you know, since we're talking about hard, you know, Dead Space, my Dead Space cosplay, that's not anything necessarily from the game in terms of color scheme. Like that was an original idea I had. And if cosplay was so focused on accuracy and being canon, I would not be able to create something like that. You know, a lot of cosplay is so much about expression. And with Black cosplayers, sometimes we have nothing but expression to be able to really embody these characters we love and have grown up with. So, you know, while I, from a certain point of view, can appreciate people trying their best to look like the character, you know, I feel like if we're going to go and try to make people like shut them out of the community because of their skin color, and I've seen that, you know, way too many times. And I've had friends who want to be in the cosplay and they're just like, oh, well, I see the stuff you post that happened to you and like other people. I'm not sure I want to do that anymore. And if that is what it takes to shut people out of cosplay, I don't really want it, you know?
Mhm.
But that's how I feel about it.
Ames, before you give your answer, I just want to say I think you should coin that phrase, nothing but expression. That is some powerful shit right there. You can go a mile, especially on this topic. I think just a humble suggestion.
Thank
That
you.
was
Thank
fire.
you.
Copyright,
I'm writing it
copyright,
down. I'm writing it
copyright.
down.
But you know me, my attitude is I never give a hoot what people. So they try me, but it never worked really. Because like, how you gonna tell me? I remember I got like really viral because I did an Isabel cosplay from Animal Crossing. First of all, Isabel is a dog, so
Yes,
that's
a
what
yellow dog.
shows you it. That's what shows you it does not matter what we do. The point and the issue is we're Black, and that's what bothers them. So why do I care? I don't. Let them feel hurt, and it makes me feel good. Their tears. And plus, Isabel's yellow. I'm yellow. That made no sense. If anything, I'm accurate as fuck. But all jokes aside, like I always did. I don't know. I always like do things like you said, expression. Like I feel like it's so great to see accuracies within the seams you see, the costume detail you see, the props, the weapons. Like, I'm not looking at someone's complexion and be like, well, that's kind of off. Like, what?
Mhm.
Like, oh, your eyes are too round. They should be slanted. Like, what? First of all, none of us are Asian, so we ain't gonna be some high school anime girl. So, like, get that straight. So I just think it's so silly that, like, people just want to use an excuse and think they're like saying something and they think they ate, but you're just being racist. Like by the end of the like discussion, everything you're saying, it makes no sense. Like the only issue you have is just because I'm a person of color. Just say that. Or I'm a woman, or I'm a person that's very curvy. That's another whole other thing. is with body type. If you're like a big girl, or like if you're a woman that's very like large chested, or a woman with a very like flat chested and like small body, it doesn't matter. Like as a woman, especially a woman of color, we're gonna get attacked like regardless what we do or say. So I just don't care. And then the hate just like makes my thing grow. So it's like, come on, bring it. Just keep on bringing it, because like it's so silly to me. And plus I gender bend a lot. Like I love gender bending because it's just fun. And I just like doing like little twists with it. I have fun with like having these weird ideas, and I put a lot of comedy in my cosplay. And I like, if I can make people laugh, it's great to me. So I don't care what others think. And if they're like so worried, like, oh, you're sexualizing a character. I'm like, how am I like, this is the body I have. You know what I mean? Like there's things you can't prevent. Or like, oh, you're making this like you look like a child. Like my one friend, because she doesn't have like a very figure body. So when she does, like, oh, you're doing a like, it doesn't matter. Like people are always gonna find something to complain about. And you just have to like not like, I can't, it's hard for people to not care. I get it. But just you do things because you enjoy it. And that's what's important. And you can't forget that. Like you're expressing yourself and you're enjoying every moment and all that sweat and tears you put into it. A lot of people are noticing it. You're too distracted by the people talking all that bad. You don't even realize all those people that are saying positive things to you. And that's what you
Yep.
should focus and look at. And that's all I gotta say.
That's facts.
We dropping dimes in this chat
We
tonight.
really are.
Just-
I picked the right ones. And Allison, before you start on your answer, I just want to say, well, first, for the people watching who don't know what canon cosplay is, I probably should have addressed this earlier. But canon cosplay is when or not necessarily cosplay, but something is written into the source material, or that's how it presents itself in the source material. So Mystique has red hair. That's canon because in the source material she has red hair, and that's what we're talking about. But also, people take this canon thing so seriously when white people or non-Black people cosplay a character who is Black or has more melanin than them. They think it's appropriate to don that skin color as if it's just a piece of armor or a sheet of fabric that you throw all over yourself for cosplay. But that is equally offensive and not necessary. Because like Avery said earlier, it's all expression, and that has nothing to do with the mode, the cosplay mode. That is the one thing that is not a character that you don't need to emulate, especially in order to get the idea across. And I remember one time when I was in high school, a friend of mine, her mom was having a really hard time understanding. The mom was a makeup artist, was having a really hard time understanding why that was offensive, for, during the case of Halloween. And I want to be friggin' whoever, I don't know, doesn't even matter. But why isn't it appropriate? It's a costume. I'm not being offensive. I have Black friends, that old chestnut. And I always throw back to the example of when I was in like middle school, there was like this talent show, right? And it was a mix of like a talent show, and then you would also go and like lip sync to songs with your friends and this whole family shenanigans. And my friends and I were the Hex Girls from that Scooby-Doo arc. And there's no Black girl in the Hex Girls. But, based on our costumes and the song that we were singing and our choreography that we had put together, you didn't need me to lighten my skin in order to understand that I'm part of the Hex Girls. You see the big picture here. And that's the same thing that should go both ways. It just doesn't freaking matter. But anyway, Alley Cat, what do you have to say about this?
Let me piggyback off of that one.
Mhm.
I really enjoy, like, I'm in the business of doing costume and costume recreation, replication, and menu construction. However, when it comes to like the skin coloring, how people argue that I'm doing it for the art, I'm doing it for respect of the character. I usually start off with the counter argument that if you're painting yourself a different color, race facing or Black facing, to be accurate, then you are implying that people of color who don't paint their skin are always going to be inaccurate. And that's kind of a derogatory,
This
you know,
don't
remark
come
to
off.
them. It doesn't come off, and it's something that you're born
Preach.
with. And it's if you're implying that you want to be accurate, you're also dogging on most of America because we're becoming the standard. I just don't agree with it. I do believe that like people who are changing the community, the shift from cosplay in the very beginning when I started is a very different community than what we are now. When I started cosplaying, there was very few other people of color who cosplayed with me at all. They were only convention goers, or they always used to hide behind a mask, whether it was Naruto, you'd be, oh, what, Obi, what's his name? Or the Toby.
Yeah,
Toby, you would just be anything with a mask if you're a Black cosplayer because you were just afraid to be criticized for how you are when you're trying to portray a character. That has totally shifted. This new generation, Gen Z, is doing TikToks where they're taking characters and changing up their entire design. They're putting their own spin on things, and that is
Curly
becoming more the
hair.
social norm. The curly
I
cosplay by
love that.
Sheldon.
Shell
is-
lover.
My goodness, that has created like a standard where that is like mostly generally well received, and it's changing the landscape. And I'm not even going to say that it is like there is still so much prejudice against like being a different race or changing it. But for me, it's about the art. Just like you would use a different type of fabric to make a costume look embellished, I would think like changing your cosplay up or putting the cosplay into how you're most comfortable just adds to the art. It just adds to it. I think it's beautiful. I 100% agree. Like, delicious, delicious, like mouth watering.
Can I interject? Because what you said about the helmets and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm someone who mainly does like armor cosplay and stuff like that. And it's an interesting perspective as a Black person cosplaying, because I've had run-ins where, you know, I'm doing photo shoots and I have the full thing on, and you know, when you're at a con and people see someone photo shooting, all of a sudden all these people start being like, well, I got to get a picture now. And I've had people come up to me and be genuinely surprised I'm Black. You know, when I take the helmet off, I'm going to drink or eat or something like that. And, you know, they're not rude about it. They're not like, oh, I never thought a Black person could, you know, make stuff like this. They're just, I guess they're so used to seeing, because let's face it, like white people are still the status quo of cosplay in a lot of ways. And so I guess when they see someone who does like armor who is Black and, you know, they don't expect me to take off the helmet like that, it's a very interesting and kind of weird thing to experience, which is why I think now more in days I make it a point to make variations on helmets where I have the mask off or something like that, so that, yeah, like a Black person can make armors, they can make these full things, and you shouldn't be shocked when they take their helmet off and, you know, that's who they are.
I'm sorry you had to deal with that. I
too.
think that's a straight up microaggression.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
I mean, I take it in stride just because, you know, I'm not there to, you know, be down on,
That's true.
oh my God, I can't believe people would think that, you know, if I were to, as a Black cosplayer, you know, take a hit drastically at every single unfortunate, you know, microaggression I deal with in conventions and out of conventions, I would have quit a long time ago. Unfortunately, we got to have a thick skin to be in this.
And
And or armor.
Because honestly, even when we're out of cosplay, we're still getting microaggressions. We're like,
absolutely,
we're always in our cosplay or in and out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like nothing changes. Like they could take that skin color off.
Absolutely.
But we're going back to our lives and we're still going through the same shit, regardless we're in costume or not. And that's like a huge difference. Like you think just we're going through this just because we're in costume and people are just saying these things just because we're in costume. No, this happens not just in cosplay. This happens in like the Lolita world, the fashion world, the goth world. Like it doesn't matter. Like people of color still have to deal with these microaggressions and stuff. Like it's ridiculous.
We tired, man. We're just tired.
Yeah, we tired.
It's very frustrating.
It is. Tristan, what about you?
I could piggyback off what my brother up here said as far as being in that armor and like practical effects community. They always kind of look at you different when you take off the mask or you get from under the suit. But one of the things that I always think to myself, the reason why I'm so good at creating monsters is because, like my sister down here said, when I take the mask off, I already know what you expect to see, or I already know how you're going to react because you treat me like a monster as a human being.
Yeah.
So when I'm in when I'm man back suit, or I'm standing next to Atrocitus or the Trench or Swamp Thing, all my other characters, sometimes I feel a little bit more comfortable being in suit than the scary look you give me as the big black man. Who should you really be scared of? You should be scared of yourself.
Yeah.
That's who you should be scared
Yeah.
of, because if your mind is that small, especially in the world of cosplay, costuming, special effects, practical effects, then there's something wrong with you. I'm never going to feel bad about any negative compliment that I get, because as an artist, I understand that everybody's not going to like my stuff. And that's, once you accept that, you're free. Like Todd McFarlane says, you like it, great. You want to say something negative? Okay, say something negative, then share it, because they're going to see that you don't really have good taste. I'm that confident in what I do as a person and as an artist. And if you don't like it, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
Scarecrow, March 2022.
Yeah.
Fine.
Plug at,
Plug,
plug at the end.
plug.
You love that. Yeah,
And
baby.
that's canon. That's
Look, look, look.
canon.
That's canon.
That's canon.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Now that is canon. All right.
Exclusive.
Y'all, let's get into the specifics now. I want to start with Avery and this, because we just talked about it, this Dead Space cosplay. I am a big Dead Space fan myself. I'm really looking forward to this remake. But your
too.
armor builds are so incredibly detailed, all of them.
Thank you.
Throughout on everything. And I know that you pride yourself in the ability to detail these things so well. And you bring Isaac to so much life, even though we don't get much character development via voiceover, because he doesn't talk, which is something that
Yeah.
in a second.
Mhm.
But what connects you to Isaac in the Dead Space franchise, and what makes you inspired to take such artistic license with his character?
Okay, so like when Dead Space came out, it was one of the first horror games I had, like during the PS3 generation. And what they were doing with that franchise was so like unique. You were just stuck in space. You were this engineer who just had tools. He didn't really have weapons, he had tools. And he's going on to this ship, the Ishimura, with just like a crew who should be better equipped than him, but they all get slaughtered. So it's just him with like these two other people scattered to the winds, and he has to try to figure out not only like what's going on the ship, but what also happened to his wife. And just the concept of this dude who has, like, to our knowledge, no combat experience. They don't really, to my knowledge, talk about that in any of the games. And see him kind of be molded into this like hardened, PTSD ridden man is such like an interesting take in horror, because horror is about facing our fears and coming out the other side, maybe not in a perfect way, but in a stronger way. The hero's journey kind of twisted and malformed in that way. And so with my cosplay, especially with the second game, because the actual armor itself is based on the advanced suit from the second game, I really wanted to pay homage to those two games because they're like my favorite in the series. So with the paint scheme, it's more based off of the first game's kind of more trying to think of the word. I'm thinking amber, but it's more copper, like copperish kind of color scheme. And if you really pay attention to the details on that suit, there is the church in the game, specific way they write. And I studied like a bunch of words in that script. So if you look at the armor, like some of them say like marker, make us whole, die, like die Isaac, like just it's like a take on the character if he just like went kind of crazy and just scribbled a bunch of like shit on the armor. And I love the concept of this man kind of like roaming around with this almost like sacrilegious armor that really kind of speaks to I think many facets of what do you think is the history behind all of that. And you know, once I really found that as the inspiration for making that cosplay, because like I said, I you know, cosplay is about expression. I wanted to really make something different than the standard advanced suit, and that was the angle I took it. And ever since, you know, I'm still working on that thing. I actually have a helmet.
I
I'm
know.
gonna
I saw
bring
the
it.
helmet on your
Please,
feed,
bring
and
it.
I was so damn excited. Show it to us.
It's I gotta reprint it,
Yeah, that's so fucking dope.
but I'm working
Yes.
on it now. My 3D printer, I'm glad. I
Yeah.
hope you can't hear it. I'm working on like another cosplay Demon Souls that's like printing out right now. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, like I like upgrading my cosplays. So that's not really con ready, and I want it to be con ready. I really, because people have been asking me to bring it out. So I really want to
It's me.
retool it
I'm
and
bitches.
so when I bring that shit out, it's gonna have, you know, the rig on the back, it's gonna light up, it's gonna have a
So
bunch of
good.
like bells and whistles on it. I cannot wait to you know, drag that thing out. I wish I had my plasma cutter somewhere. It's somewhere stocked up, but yeah, like that thing works. It turns and stuff like that. It's actually like one
Oh
of
man.
the replica ones. When it has batteries in it, it even has like the LED like lines that shoot out the actual gun. So it's really badass. So again, whenever I bring that thing out to a con, you better
I will be there.
ready.
When you do, can I be your necromorph?
Yo,
Absolutely. My
It's just
dream is to
alright.
Allie's already got it. Y'all already got it. Y'all could be my my necromorphs walking around. You'd be the only ones I wouldn't kill. I wouldn't slice up. I love y'all too much.
you just pull a Michonne and like cut our limbs off, but like leave
Yeah.
like, one limb so we
Just
can
one.
like,
Yeah,
Just that
just
one.
as you yeah, like the claw. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so now let's pop over to Ames. This past Halloween, your fans had the pleasure of watching you transform into 6 different cryptids, including Mothman and the Loch Ness Monster. Are there any other cryptids on hold for the future? I don't know.
Yeah, I want to do the San Francisco Nightcrawler. It's in
Ooh.
California, cryptid, and it's a scary pair of pants. I'm not even joking. I showed Gravity, and it's the most cutest, eerie cryptid I've ever seen. It literally looks like a pair of white pants, and it's just on its mosey way walking. And there's like a baby version one next to it in another clip that someone got off their CCTV, like off their like security camera. And they think it may be alien like. There's also like talk about it being maybe a Native American like folk type of situation. There's all these little fun stories they don't know, or they think it's some weird puppeteer guy that's even scarier, because if you know how Puppet Master went, like,
Yeah.
and he's just messing with people, but it literally looks like a pair of white bell-bottom jeans just going like this. And I'm like, I told her, I was like, I have to do it. I'm gonna get a pair of pants, wear like a green outfit, and cover my face. So when I do a green screen, and cut the rest of my torso up, and I'm just gonna be walking. Yeah, I told her, I was like, record me in the woods walking with a pair of bell-bottom pants, please.
I'll be the
But that
camera.
is the one I want to do so bad. I was like, I have to do this.
That is going to be such a perfect addition to your collection of cryptids.
Yeah, because my whole situation with cryptids is I wanted most, besides the basic ones everyone knew, which was like Mothman, Loch Ness Monster. I also did cryptids that no one's ever heard of unless you're from that actual state or town. And I like giving fun facts and education like on it, because it's like the backstories are really funny. Like the first one I did was like it was the jackal, you know, the rabbit.
Mhm.
And the reason that came to be is like it was the what's it called, like they found out it's not true. It was literally that a guy saw a rabbit had a fungal infection, a fungus growing through a rabbit's
Ooh.
brain, and it looked like horns, and that's where we get the jackalope from. And
I didn't
think
know that. That's interesting.
that is so
That is
cool.
cool.
And then there was a ghost cow, and the ghost cow It was literally this random cow that people kept seeing for like a long time, and they thought it was literal ghost cow until someone really found the cow, the lost cow that's been just drifting. So actually the cow is real and it's not a cryptid. It was just a cow that randomly showed up. But there's like a lot of fun stories like that. There's a lot of alien, because I love a lot of like alien stories and cryptids, and I like the source of how things become a cryptid.
Mhm.
Like kappas, a lot of people forget kappas, they grab the intestines from the anus and tear it out and disembowel people. Like that's freaking crazy.
That's rad.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very rad. And like, so I love learning the stories and then tying them together of what really is the cause of how this story came to be, like the jackalope with the fungus infection and stuff. So I really enjoyed. I definitely gonna do the Nightcrawler.
One of the coolest things about this theme of cosplaying cryptids that you have is that there is no canon.
No,
There is no
absolutely not.
canon. So you just say,
The
what
only
would a Loch
canon
Ness
someone
monster
someone
look-
tried to get me because I did Mothman and they kept calling me
Oh my
Mothwoman.
God.
And I was like,
Oh,
no, I'm
please.
still Mothman. I'm
Man.
still Mothman.
Again,
That
just
is
goes to
all-
show you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Like people are just like so silly.
A cryptid is a cryptid is a cryptid. Okay.
Yep.
Exactly.
And let's keep it
Yeah.
moving. So, Allison, I've seen you work very closely with Capcom, and I know you're a super fan. Can you tell us about your Resident Evil cosplay journey from Lady Dimitrescu to the Chainsaw Sisters from Resident Evil 4?
I love Resident Evil, not sponsored.
Yeah.
I love it. It
Woo!
is such the foundation of true horror. I don't know. It's just something very special about Resident Evil, whether or not you're a new player, old player. And there's a reason that they're like have like 25 remakes of the same game. It's just really good. I'm just a video game super fan. I'm a horror fan, and I have always loved to cosplay like different types of characters. So I'll cosplay like the hormone monstrous, or I'll cosplay something that's like not known of. So when they revealed Lady Dimitrescu in the trailer, nobody knew that she was like 9 foot tall. But when I saw the demo or the gameplay that they did at the Game Awards, I saw that she reached down. And I was like, as a 5'10" woman who cannot convincingly play off like a little petite character like we usually see at conventions or cosplay, I was like, that is my jam. So I kept looking more and more at her.
Representation matters.
Representation
Yeah.
matters. And like, oh my God,
Mhm.
even Capcom was like, we didn't know that this, big older lady, because they purposely got a model who was in her 50s to do the facial tracking. They didn't know that she was going to be so popular because she was older, she was taller, and apparently she's the crowd favorite because it's
She
all
was
we talked about.
gorgeous in the Game Awards.
I
most
love
recent
her.
Game Awards. Woo!
Oh,
She
Maggie
is
Robinson
freaking
did her
gorgeous.
thing. I'm so proud that she got
Yes.
it.
Yeah, she's showing. Just because I'm old, you don't think I can look fine as wine? Oh my God, she's gorgeous. Yeah.
So once the game came out, I was like, okay, let me try to make the cosplay. She caught on like wildfire with everybody cosplaying. I made the costume in 24 hours in a speed rush of
24.
24
She
hours.
drank the hell out of that. She was like,
I
You
did.
are
I
insane.
did.
That is nuts.
So I ended up being, the dress is probably as tall as the door when it's standing up straight. $100 in bridal satin and on the outside shell alone. Pure passion. I didn't sleep. I was
Yes.
just so enthralled with that. And I was like, okay, she's Resident Evil. She's Lady Dimitrescu, Capcom. And then I got reached out to by Capcom, Facebook, and Oculus to do another Resident Evil cosplay of the Bella sister from Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
And I told them, I was like, lucky you, I had already wanted to make her when I first started cosplaying, but I didn't know what to do. So I already have a broken chainsaw. Let's go, baby.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's go. So they were like, okay, we want you to make a character like be Ada Wong, like really pretty, be what's her Ashley Graham. I was like, I'm gonna be the Bella sister, the bloody lady with the
Yes.
wraps on her and the chainsaw.
Yes.
Goes, ah! So I was like, let's do that. Because everybody else who they contacted was doing those other characters, and I was like, let me do my favorite.
Yeah.
But it was a very it was a thrill to work with them. They are very what's it called? Fan appreciative. They really want to see people enjoy what they do with their games. And it was just a thrill to work with them. I can't wait to see what they do with Resident Evil 8 DLC this year, and I can't wait to see what they do with more horror
Yo,
games.
I am waiting.
Oh,
I'm excited.
Yes,
I
I'm
still
very
can't
excited.
bated
believe I
breath.
need that.
The way
Catch
you
me
can
on
tell
Twitter
talking
you're
about
just
it.
like such a Resident Evil fan, because anyone else, if Capcom were to approach me and say, hey, can you do like a cosplay for us? I'm like, okay, who would I look the best as? Just because of this opportunity. But no, you, the super fan, goes, I want to cosplay the character that is the most gruesome and that I
Yeah.
want to, because
Because
I
just
think
because.
that's really
Mhm.
awesome. And also
They
your
would've
Lady
hate me.
Dimitrescu was just like freaking on point. And I was just like, I was in such a state of bliss that time where like all of the women and some men
Yeah.
on my cosplay timeline were cosplaying Lady Dimitrescu right after the Game Awards.
There's so many great versions.
I was
And
enamored.
I was just like in
It's
bliss.
amazing.
I was just like, yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. It just never
Legit.
ends.
Legit, that convinced me to do Ethan Winters sometime down the pipeline. Mostly because I like
Oh my
his
God.
portrayal in
If you don't
RE8.
chop your hand, it's not
I was
canon.
just gonna say,
Come on, man.
Mhm.
Ethan
Listen,
Winters.
I
Yeah,
got that
gotta
green.
do it.
I got that green juicy juice. It's all good.
okay, we're
Green
done.
juicy
Juicy juice.
juicy.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I
and-
wanted to do Mr. X, but I was
oh, see, you could make that really hot.
Oh, bald.
that's the type of person that I am. Like I want to do Juggernaut. I want to do everything that they will be like, look at a 5'1", like this tiny person and be like, why is she cosplaying this ugly man? Like I like doing cosplays like that.
Because you can.
Capcom would have hate me. I would have been like Mr. X. Like,
Oh.
are you Michael Jackson? No, Mr.
Oh
X.
my God.
We called Michael Jackson so many times as Lady
Because the
D.
stupid
Oh.
hat.
Oh man,
Oh no.
Yo,
that's
is
funny. I
legendary.
was Allie kind of appreciate this. I was actually gonna do a nemesis
Oh,
for.
I need to see
my
that. I need to see that,
God.
please.
I was
Is this
gonna
in the
do
plan?
Was or going
Nemesis.
now?
I was going to do the liquor, the mutated version of the liquor, and I
You
was
can't
gonna
tell us
do
these things.
the hunter from Resident Evil 1.
Ugh.
Because I've been on Resident Evil since '96.
Yeah.
Like I'm right there with you.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
old school. I was at Blockbuster. I
Yes.
got it
God.
and then I had the demo. Then I went to Toys R Us. Like, all right, let me go ahead and blow my allowance. Yeah, but that
Yo.
was fun fact. That was a universe that was going to happen before I decided on this other universe after this.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Well,
It still might happen.
It's not too late to circle back.
It's
to that.
never.
Yeah.
That's the
Revisit
fun
old
thing with
ideas,
cosplay.
rehash them.
Yeah.
It's not too late.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's
you
Yeah,
can
never
just
no.
too
always
late.
do it. Just do it just because. Don't even have to plan it for something.
Yo,
Like, a lot of people don't know that.
though,
You don't have to
the
plan a
liquor.
cosplay.
I'm
around
interested in the
con.
hunter because I was playing the remake because I'm doing an edit for someone, and I had to deal with the hunters again after not booting up that game for a while. And
Yikes.
yeah, yeah.
My concept of the hunter was really it was disturbing.
Oh,
Which
no,
means it was right. It was
yeah. Yeah.
right.
If you ever
Yeah.
want to swing
Do
that
it.
idea by me, I
Do
want to
it.
see it. Do it.
Do
Do it.
Do it.
All right. Well,
Do it.
Tristan, continuing with you, I think this is very appropriate. You are the literal embodiment of go big or go home
Damn
with
straight.
your work, everything. Is there one particular movie monster that gave you this inspiration to just create big things? If not, which I know this is kind of a hard question, maybe a top 3.
Yeah. Yeah. I could give you a top 3 for right now. The first 2 is gonna be the Queen Alien Xenomorph from Aliens.
Mm.
Number 2 is Rexy from Jurassic Park. And number 3 is usually a toss-up, but right now it's Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead, and then it's also the Predator at sometimes too.
Mhm.
That's my biggest inspirations. I always was I like to make things larger than life. And that kind of goes without saying, but I just have a big imagination, and I live in a big world. I like to see things on larger scales, and I like to be able to bring those things to life and make people feel small.
I love that. I love feeling small.
Yeah.
I mean, real life is boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, life. You want to see something that like, oh, shakes you a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not too sure I could defend myself.
Uh-huh.
And because I remember those feelings of seeing like a xenomorph statue at one of the comic books downtown, and I almost ran out into the street. And I chase that feeling of fear every time. I'm just like haunted by it, but I love it. I remember feeling so helpless seeing that xenomorph and my grandmother like catching me before I ran out into the street to die. And then now it's like, that's the type of feeling like when you come to a convention or you see me at a shoot, I want you to feel like, yo, I don't feel good about this. Like if kids love my work, I don't think I did something right.
I need them to run out in the street.
Yeah.
If kids, and I know when I did something right, because there's always this subtle pause, and even with adults in younger audiences as well, there's always this subtle pause, and I'm like, yep, that's it. And if I could freak my wife out, I know I got something right.
There we go.
Yeah.
You got a little Pennywise in you, wanting to instill fear in children.
Yes.
A little Pennywise.
Yeah.
No, I'm beautifully haunted. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Beautifully
Oh,
haunted.
what a nice way to say that.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Do you have
You should
any
trademark
tips?
that.
Yeah, facts. Do you have any tips for beginner monster makers?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that you want to get right with every monster you create, silhouette. You want to go from the outside in. You can have the greatest sculpt, you can have the greatest fit design, but if the silhouette ain't right, it's you're gonna run into some issues. The details. Second part is the details. The details gotta have details, and the details gotta have even more details. Use nature. Nature is your best friend when it comes to creating a lot of these creatures, and I think I've shown that in my latest couple of creatures. I'm just ripping straight out of National Geographics, just like, hey, I'm gonna take something from this animal, I'm gonna take something from this plant, I'm gonna take something from this rock, and just kind of mold it all together. And the biggest thing is just plan the work, then work the plan. Be ready to get your ass kicked. There's gonna be a lot of things that's gonna go right, but there's gonna be a lot of things that's gonna go wrong. When you create a lot of these monsters, the human form, boop, you throw that right out the door. You're gonna have to twist and contort your body into certain ways. You're gonna have to use tools and techniques you never used before. I had to learn how to use a walking crutches for Man-Bat's arms. I had to change my workout for that. I had to alter some already super huge platforms for Lord Atrocitus. Atrocitus is like 7+ feet. I'm 5'11". I don't know what that's like. Now I do. Always go in with a plan. Always know that you're gonna have to alter that plan to have a plan A, B, and C, and stick to deadlines. Try to give yourself a deadline. I know it's like always, I just want to do this for the love. I want to do it. When it comes to monsters, there's always some things you don't see. And there's always things that you just don't plan for. So when you do that fitting, you'll be able to see some certain things, and lose the human. That's what I'll leave you with. Lose the human.
Lose the human.
Nobody wants to see a human. You want to see a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Get it out of here.
That's some damn good advice.
Yeah, when you want to
say
act
so.
like a monster, you gotta start like doing some contorting.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the PayPal invoice for that shit, because I want to.
Yeah.
Me and Allie are just
That's like
We gotta sign some, some
I
NDAs.
wasn't supposed to say none of that shit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was supposed to say that for the, but yeah, that's where I leave it. That's where I leave it.
I just want to go back to just one thing. the silhouette thing, I've never
Yeah.
thought about that, but now I'm thinking about it in my head. And every monster, upon the reveal, that's the first thing that you see. And as a consumer of monster stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think about that. That's the first thing that I see. And it was you that I was talking about Sweetheart with, right? We're talking
Yes, we
about
were.
Sweetheart. That
Yes.
monster, y'all,
The
everyone
reveal.
watching this panel, everyone on the panel, if you haven't seen Sweetheart, go watch that shit. Because Tristan and I, we had this connection over
Yeah.
the monster, and that monster reveal, the first thing you see is its silhouette, and it's just like, holy shit. But anyway,
And
that's
yes. And I remember you told me about that, and I was so thankful because it kind of it really I think I was working on either Man Battle or Atrocities, but it really helped. Like if you saw nothing else, and you know about the upcoming project this summer, how big silhouettes are.
Mhm.
So you making monsters, even armors too. You know, silhouette is key. You want to strike fear right now. You want to be like, oh shit, I'm fucked. If that's not the case, then you don't have a monster.
Right.
You want people to feel small. You
Mhm.
want people to feel unsafe, but you want people to feel happy at the same time. And nothing makes people happier than seeing big monsters.
Agree. Well, this has been a
Beautifully haunted, baby.
fantastic freaking panel. Thank all of you for being here again. I appreciate everyone for carving out the time and coming to chat with me today. So let's just do a little closing. Where can the viewers find you and your content online?
You can find me at instagram.com/Ocdraman or twitter.com/Ocdrakaz _Kaz. And yeah, those are mainly what I frequent, Twitter and Instagram. So
you can find my TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook page is all the same. It's Ames Taco, AAIMZTAKO. And then my Twitter is Ames. So just AAIMZ.
You can find me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch at Alley Cat Cosplay. It's that on every single platform.
Oh yeah, I forgot my Twitch. Same thing.
Plug the Twitch. Plug the Twitch.
And you can find me on all platforms as well as Tris Rex or at Tris Rex Studio. March
the shirt
2022. Get ready to get it. We got some nice fear coming. We're gonna be ready to bring it back
Plug.
I
forward.
know that much. Eyebrows. All right, y'all. I have been Zero Gravity. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Black History Month.
yeah.
Yeah.